Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring a paradox in global politics. People around the world say they support international cooperation more than ever, but at the same time, trust in the very institutions built to deliver that cooperation, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and others, is declining. This gap between support and trust raises big questions about how global policymaking works in the 21st century. Global institutions are supposed to be the glue that holds international cooperation together. They set rules, coordinate responses to crises, and help countries solve problems no single nation can tackle alone, like pandemics, climate change, or financial stability. But if people lose faith in these institutions, their legitimacy suffers. Without legitimacy, even the best-intentioned policies struggle to gain traction. In other words, trust is not just about perception. It directly shapes the effectiveness of global decision-making. Recent global surveys show a clear pattern. Large majorities of people support the idea of working together across borders. They believe that cooperation is essential for solving shared challenges. Yet when asked about specific institutions, the UN, WHO, IMF, or even regional bodies like the European Union, confidence levels drop. People feel these organizations are too slow, too political, or too distant from ordinary citizens. In some cases, they are seen as serving the interests of powerful nations rather than the global community as a whole. So why is trust eroding? There are several reasons. First, crisis performance. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the World Health Organization was criticized for both acting too slowly and for being influenced by political pressures. For many, that undermined its credibility. Second, perceptions of inequality. Institutions like the IMF or World Bank are often accused of favoring wealthy countries or imposing policies that hit vulnerable populations hardest. Debt restructuring programs, for example, can come with harsh austerity measures that hurt ordinary people. Third, lack of transparency. Many international organizations are seen as bureaucratic and unaccountable. Decisions are made behind closed doors with little input from the public. Finally, geopolitical rivalry. As tensions grow between major powers, whether the US and China or Russia and the West, global institutions often get caught in the middle. They struggle to act independently, and their neutrality comes into question. This decline in trust creates a serious challenge for policymakers. On one hand, global problems demand more cooperation than ever. Climate change doesn't stop at borders. Neither do pandemics, cyber attacks, or financial crises. On the other hand, governments know that citizens are skeptical of international organizations. That makes leaders hesitant to hand over authority or resources for fear of a domestic backlash. The result is a kind of gridlock. Institutions are tasked with solving huge problems, but they are given neither the funding nor the political backing to act decisively. When they fail, trust drops even further, creating a cycle that is hard to break. If global institutions want to rebuild trust, they need to adapt. That means becoming more transparent, more accountable, and more representative of the world as it actually looks today, not the world of 1945. Emerging economies in Africa, Asia, and Latin America are demanding a bigger voice in decision-making. Institutions must also show they can deliver concrete results that improve people's lives, whether through faster disaster relief, fairer trade rules, or more inclusive financial support. Public engagement also matters. These organizations can no longer afford to be distant technocracies. They need to communicate directly with global citizens, explaining what they do, why it matters, and how it affects everyday life. At its core, the story here is not about whether people believe in cooperation. They do. The question is whether they still believe in the institutions designed to make cooperation possible. As trust declines, global policymaking risks becoming weaker, slower, and more fragmented, at a time when the world can least afford it. For leaders is to recognize the urgency of reform before it's too late. Because in a world of shared problems, cooperation without trust is like a ship without a rudder. Thank you for This is not inevitable. Institutions can evolve and public trust can be rebuilt. The Chalbut in Jiching. If you found this analysis useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global issues.